You started the conversation with a question, a simple one, something you needed answered, something you had been carrying for days, something that felt important enough to finally bring up, even though some part of you already knew, from experience, from the dread that settled in your stomach when you decided to say it, that bringing it up was going to cost you something. You asked the question, and then something happened that you still cannot fully explain. The conversation went somewhere, but not toward an answer, not toward resolution, not toward understanding. It went somewhere else, sideways, then backward, then to something that happened 3 months ago that you thought was resolved, then to something you allegedly said once that you do not remember saying, then to the ways in which you're bringing this up right now is evidence of the specific problem with you that has been the real issue all along. And somewhere in the middle of all of this, somewhere between the thing you asked and the fog you are currently inside, the original question disappeared. Not because it was answered, because it was never going to be answered, because answering it was never what the conversation was for. You left that conversation feeling confused, exhausted, somehow responsible for something that happened in a conversation you started, somehow wrong in ways you cannot quite specify, and you did not understand why. This video is going to tell you why. It is called word salad, and it was not an accident. Stay until the very end, because the last section contains something nobody says directly about what word salad does over time, and why what it actually costs you is not the argument you never won. Let me start with what word salad actually is, not the clinical definition, the experience. You know the experience. A conversation with a narcissist does not follow the normal architecture of human communication. Normal communication has a structure. Someone raises something. The other person hears it. They respond to what was actually said. Together, through a process of reciprocal listening, genuine engagement, and actual investment in reaching a shared understanding, they work toward resolution. It is often difficult, sometimes painful, frequently imperfect, but it moves. It goes somewhere. The conversation with a narcissist does not go somewhere. It circles. It deflects. It reverses. It arrives at a destination that has nothing to do with where you started, and where, somehow, despite having raised a concern about their behavior, you are now the problem being discussed. This is word salad, a circular language tactic in which conversations are designed not to resolve, not to understand, not to connect, but to control. Specifically, to prevent accountability. To ensure that no matter what you raise, no matter how clearly you articulate it, no matter how much evidence you bring, the conversation will end with them not having had to account for anything, and with you having somehow accounted for something you did not do. Now let me show you exactly how it is built, because this is the part that changes everything. Word salad is not the same as being a bad communicator. It is not confusion. It is not someone who processes differently or expresses themselves poorly. It is a deliberate system, a specific, functional, highly effective set of conversational tactics designed to produce a precise outcome. The outcome is, you do not complete a thought. You do not land a point. You do not hold them accountable. You do not reach resolution. You end the conversation less certain of what you know than when you started it. Here are the specific mechanisms. The first mechanism is deflection. You raise something about their behavior. They respond to something else entirely. Not something related, not a misunderstanding. Something deliberately unrelated, designed to move the conversation away from the thing you raised before you can finish raising it. You started a sentence. You were mid-thought. And suddenly you are responding to something else. And the original sentence never got completed. The original thought never landed. And it is your fault, because you are getting distracted. The second mechanism is blame shifting. You raise a concern about their behavior. Within two exchanges, sometimes within one, the conversation has somehow become about your behavior. Not as a counter-argument, not as relevant context, as the actual subject of the conversation. Your tone, your timing, your history of doing this same thing. The way you always bring things up in a particular way that is itself the problem. And now you are defending yourself. You are explaining yourself. You are justifying your right to have raised the concern in the first place. The concern itself is gone, replaced by a trial you did not know you were going to be attending. The third mechanism is circular repetition. They make a point. You respond to it. They make the same point again, as if you said nothing, as if your response did not happen, as if the conversation is reset back to the beginning every time you bring it forward. And you try again. Different words, different angle, different framing, same point. And they make the same point again. And you are in a circle. Not because they could not hear you, because hearing you was never the goal. Exhausting you was. The fourth mechanism is denial. You reference something that happened, something specific, something you remember clearly, something you could describe in detail. They did not say that. That did not happen. You are misremembering. You are imagining things. You have always had this problem of hearing things that were not said, seeing things that did not happen, interpreting innocent actions in the worst possible way. And now you are defending your memory. You are fighting for your right to have perceived what you perceived. The original conversation, the thing you raised, is somewhere behind you, abandoned in the place where this started. And you are spending your energy establishing that your own experience of reality is valid. The fifth mechanism is projection. The very thing you raised about their behavior, the specific, documented pattern you were trying to address, is now being attributed to you. You are controlling. You are manipulative. You are the one who always twists conversations. You are the one who never takes responsibility. You are the one who cannot communicate without making everything about yourself. And now you are defending yourself against accusations that are mirror images of the thing you came to this conversation to address, while they have never addressed it. Now I need to stop and speak to you directly, because I know what is happening right now. You are remembering specific conversations, specific moments. The one where you started talking about something and ended up apologizing. The one where you had evidence, actual evidence, messages, something in writing, and you left the conversation less certain than when you had it. The one where you came in clear about what you needed to say and left wondering if you had invented the thing that caused you to raise it. And something is happening in you right now that is a combination of recognition and relief and rage. Recognition, because this has a name. Relief, Because the reason you could never win those conversations is not because you were wrong. Rage, because of how long it worked. I want to tell you something about that rage. It is appropriate. Because what word salad does is not just frustrate a conversation. It does something much more specific and much more damaging. Here is what word salad actually costs you. Not the argument, your relationship with your own mind. Every time you leave a conversation more confused than you entered it, every time you started certain of something and ended uncertain, a small erosion happens. Not of the facts, of your trust in your own access to the facts. Your perception starts to feel unreliable, not because it is unreliable, because it has been repeatedly told it is unreliable by someone who needed it to feel unreliable. Because a person who trusts their own perception cannot be controlled. A person who does not trust their own perception, who approaches their own experience of events with a question mark, who needs external confirmation before they can believe what they saw and heard and felt, that person can be told that what they experienced was not what they experienced. And part of them will wonder if the telling is right. Word salad is not a communication style. It is a method for installing doubt about your own mind inside you. And it is extraordinarily effective. Because it does not need you to believe them completely. It only needs you to stop being certain, to add the question mark, to pause before you act on what you know. And in that pause, they have the space they need. Now, what actually helps? The first thing is naming what you are in. Word salad. When you feel the conversation moving away from where you started, when you notice you are defending yourself against something you did not come here to be accused of, name it internally. Not to them, to yourself. This is word salad. That naming, that simple, accurate identification of what is happening, is not a small thing. It is the beginning of no longer being inside it. Because word salad requires your participation. It requires you to follow where it leads. It requires you to respond to the deflection, defend against the blame shift, engage with the circular point, argue with the denial, counter the projection. Every response you make to any of those things is fuel. It extends the conversation in the direction they need it to go. The second thing is understanding that you are not going to win this conversation. Not because you are wrong,
because the conversation is not designed to be won. It is designed to be circular. Any successful argument you make will be restarted from the beginning. Any point you land will be unregistered. Any evidence you present will be denied. You are not arguing with someone who disagrees with you. You are arguing with someone who cannot afford to agree with you. Because agreeing with you means being accountable. And accountability is the one thing the conversation was built to prevent. The third thing is the gray rock method, specifically in conversation. When you recognize you are in a word salad, when the deflections begin, when the blame shifts, when the circular repetition starts, go flat. Not argumentative, not emotional. Flat. Short responses. Minimal engagement. No new information. No emotional investment that can be used against you. You are not trying to win. You are not trying to be heard. You are trying to exit without giving them more material to work with. Because every emotion you show, every new point you raise, every clarification you offer, becomes material. The gray rock gives them nothing to work with. And without material, the word salad cannot continue. The fourth thing is keeping records. Not to present in the argument, for yourself. Your own documentation of what was said, what you asked, what happened, what they said and then denied saying. Not because you will ever be able to use it to hold them accountable in the conversation. Because every time the word salad starts to work, every time the confusion begins to replace what you know with a question mark, you can return to your record and find what you knew before the conversation started. The fifth thing, the most important, is rebuilding your relationship with your own mind. The specific work of learning to trust your perception again, to enter your experience without the question mark they installed. To say this happened and believe it without needing them to confirm it. This is harder than it sounds, because the question mark was installed through repetition. And it requires repetition in the other direction to replace it. Repeated experiences of trusting your perception and finding it was accurate. Repeated noticing that what you knew before the conversation started was correct. Repeated contact with people who hear you and respond to what you actually said, not to a version of it designed to make you lose. And now, the thing I promised. The thing nobody says directly about what word salad does over time. Here it is. You did not lose your grip on reality. It was removed. Not by your own mind's weakness, not by any deficiency in your ability to perceive, remember, or reason. By a systematic, deliberate, sustained campaign to replace your certainty with uncertainty. To make the question mark so automatic that it operated before you even formed the thought. So that you would spend your energy doubting yourself rather than holding them accountable. The confusion you felt after those conversations was not a sign that you were wrong. It was evidence that the strategy was working. And the clarity you are feeling right now, as you watch this video and recognize the specific conversations and the specific mechanisms and the specific cost, that clarity is not new information. It is your original perception, the one that was always accurate, the one that kept being told it was not. Coming back. You were not crazy. You were in a carefully constructed linguistic environment designed to make you feel that way. That is not the same thing, and it is not too late to know the difference. If this video finally gave you the name for what was happening in those conversations, please share it with one person who is still inside one of those conversations and still believing it is their fault for not being able to make sense of it. Tell them it was never meant to make sense. Subscribe. Because this channel exists to give you the language for what was done to you, so you can stop blaming yourself for what was never about your failure. I will see you in the next one.